Okay, today I'm going to be tying the mini 3D cat's whisker. It's called 3D because of the material that's used on it, which is 3D fritz. As you can see there, Elite 3D fritz, which is silver, silver, ultraviolet, and fluorescent yellow. The thread I'm going to be using is a Unithread 80 in fire orange. The marabou I'm going to be using is fluorescent white. Okay, so first of all, just get a nice layer of thread down on the hook. The hook I'm using is a size 10, international size 10. So this hook can also be used for competitions as well, which run on international rules. Okay, so pluck off your piece of marabou. What I tend to do is I run my finger along the marabou and strip off the excess, so you've got a nice little thinner gap, which basically makes everything less bulky. So I'll tie that in. I'll do three or four turns just to make sure that's nice and secure. Okay, at this point I'll run my finger back to about that distance there, pinch and nip, just so there you've got your tail length. Okay, at this point what I tend to do is I wrap the thread underneath the tail and pull tight back and then over the top. This a lot of the time will stop your tail getting wrapped around your hook shank, which is quite annoying when you're fishing and you're spending all your time casting out, retrieving back, and then to find out that your hook's wrapped around, your tail's wrapped around the hook. Okay, at this point what I tend to do, I tend to strip away a tiny bit of the excess, lie that on top about the same excess length as the marabou, and tie it in. I do 2 turns over there and then do loose turns forward. This basically just secures everything in, and then I wind everything back with closer turns to where I started and then back down. This ensures that everything's going to stay where it is and your fly is going to last a bit longer than 10 minutes. Okay. What I tend to do when I wrap, I wrap it the opposite way to what I wind my thread, and I'll show you the reason for that when I get down. Okay, so I'm winding it over. As I go over, I'm pulling the strands back. As I go. Absolutely great fritz this. It really does create a fantastic body. The reason why I'm pulling everything back is because it creates a far more dense body for your fly. So obviously it creates better movement when you're pulling it through the water. Okay. Wind it all the way forward to the eye. I'll do one more turn. Okay, from there I hold everything in place, as you can see, and I do 1 turn over, 2 turns over, I pull everything back, I'll do 1, 2 turns in front, 3 turns, and just basically continue turning. Okay, then at this point I cut away the excess piece of fritz and then build up a layer of thread. I always tend to build up a layer of thread first, because on a lot of these beads they're obviously countersunk, and sometimes if you don't build a layer of thread up, everything can slip and basically put your fly looking bong-eyed or wonky. So I build a upper layer of thread so it fills the countersunk gap and produces a nice sturdy fly. Okie dokie, as you can see the body's looking quite nice on there, quite nice and neat. I then need to grab another clump of marabou. Some people on the marabou use the tips and some people don't. On these flies I like to use, well, basically the middle part of the marabou, which is quite fluffy. Okie dokie, again I've scraped away the excess because I don't like all the bulk, and laid it flat on top. Okay, so I lay it flat on top, I do one turn over and then another. I centre everything up to make sure it's in the centre of the fly. Pull everything back and trim off the excess. This is the pain in the butt bit for every single fly tire. A little bit of excess marabou on the top. So okay, so once you've done that, that marabou there is pretty much secured in place. I very much doubt it's going to go anywhere. Okay, and again, the tail length is quite long, and you want to trim it down about the same length as the back tail. As you can see, there's the tail length for you. Okay, at this point your fly is basically finished. All you need to do now is whip finish it. I always use the tool. I don't like using my fingers, it's just basically personal preference. I've come to use the tool. So 1, 2, I've just done 3 turns, that's all you need. Make sure that's nice and tight and secure, and trim off your excess. Now to totally finish the fly, all you need to do is a little bit of varnish. Okay, so pull everything back and apply the varnish. Okay, I always varnish over the gold head as well, just because then your gold head normally keeps its nice bright gold colour. Okie doke, and that's your finished fly, the mini 3D cat's whisker.